doctor told her daughter to pick a new father among the doctors, but she chose the janitor. Dr. Jennifer Wilson never imagined that a decision made out of desperation would completely change the course of her life and that of her 6-year-old daughter. The 32-year-old pediatrician had tried everything to help Emily find a father figure after their messy divorce, but nothing seemed to work. Then, she had what she thought was a brilliant idea. Gather the most respected doctors at Mercy General Hospital and let Emily choose which one would be her new dad. Jennifer planned everything down to the smallest detail, inviting 5 colleagues who had always shown interest in her. What she didn't expect was for Emily to point directly at Michael Parker, the 40-year-old janitor who was cleaning the hallway at that moment. The scene unfolded on a Tuesday morning when Jennifer had asked the doctors to gather in the hospital's main hallway. Dr. Richard Thompson, head of cardiology, adjusted his spotless lab coat while chatting with Dr. Frank Miller from orthopedics. Beside them, Dr. Mark Johnson from neurology checked his gold wristwatch. Dr. Paul Roberts from gastroenterology and Dr. Andrew Davis from urology completed the group of suitors. Emily walked beside her mother, holding her small, warm hand. Her blonde hair was tied in a simple ponytail, and she wore a light pink dress that Jennifer had picked especially for the occasion. The little girl observed each doctor carefully, her blue eyes studying each one with a seriousness beyond her years. "Sweetheart, any of these doctors would be a wonderful father for you," Jennifer said, kneeling to her daughter's height. "They're all very smart and successful." Emily shook her head slowly, her eyes scanning each man in a white coat again. That was when Michael walked by with his cleaning cart. Wearing the grey uniform with blue trim that all custodial staff wore, his large hands gripped the broom handle firmly, and he greeted Jennifer with a quiet nod, as he did every morning. "Him," Emily suddenly said, letting go of her mother's hand and running toward Michael. "I want him to be my dad." The silence that followed was deafening. Michael stopped abruptly, his dark eyes widening in shock. Jennifer felt her face burn with embarrassment as the 5 doctors exchanged glances, their expressions ranging from astonishment to outrage. "Emily, come back here," Jennifer called, trying to keep her voice steady. "These gentlemen are doctors, just like Mommy." "But I want Uncle Michael," Emily insisted, hugging the janitor's leg tightly. "He's nice. He talks to me every day." Michael looked at Jennifer apologetically, his hands trembling slightly. He knew this situation could cost him his job, especially with so many important doctors watching. "Dr. Michael," Emily said, looking up, "do you want to be my dad?" The little girl's words echoed through the hallway like a bomb. Dr. Richard cleared his throat loudly, his face red with suppressed anger. Dr. Frank shook his head in disdain, while the other doctors whispered among themselves. "Emily, that's enough," Jennifer said, stepping forward quickly. "Mr. Michael has his own work to do." "Doctor," Michael murmured, his voice quiet and respectful. "The little girl always stops to talk to me when you're in surgery. She's very polite. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out." Now, continuing, Jennifer felt her chest tighten. Emily really did spend a lot of time alone in the hospital hallways, especially during her mother's long surgeries. The nanny usually left her in the waiting room, but apparently the girl found her own ways to entertain herself. "Look at this situation," said Dr. Richard, approaching with firm steps. "This is completely inappropriate. A janitor shouldn't be talking to a child unsupervised." "He didn't do anything wrong," Emily defended, tightening her grip on Michael's leg. "He teaches me things, tells me stories." Dr. Frank crossed his arms over his chest, his lab coat making a crisp sound. "Jennifer, you need to control your daughter better. This is embarrassing for all of us." Irritation began to grow inside Jennifer. As awkward as the situation was, she didn't like the condescending tone her colleagues were using. "Emily didn't do anything wrong," she said, placing a hand on her daughter's shoulder. "She was just expressing her opinion." "Her opinion about something she doesn't understand," retorted Dr. Mark. "A 6-year-old doesn't have the maturity to choose a father." Michael took a step back, trying to distance himself from the situation. His hands were sweaty as he gripped the broom handle. "Excuse me, doctor," he said. "I need to get back to work." "Don't go," Emily pleaded, holding his hand. "Please." Jennifer watched her daughter, really watched her. Emily had never shown this much affection for any of the boyfriends she'd introduced over the past 2 years. The girl seemed genuinely comfortable with Michael, as if it were natural for her to be there. "Emily," she said, kneeling again, "why did you choose Michael?" "Because he really listens," Emily answered, her eyes shining. "And he knows cool stories, and he always asks how my day was." "That doesn't mean he can be your father," Dr. Paul cut in impatiently. "Being a father is a serious responsibility." "I know what responsibility is," Emily said, turning to him with a serious expression. "My real dad never picks me up when he promises. Uncle Michael is always here when I need him." The girl's words hit Jennifer like a punch to the gut. She knew her ex-husband was irresponsible, but she hadn't realized Emily understood it so clearly. Michael crouched to Emily's eye level, his gentle gaze meeting hers. "Emily, your mum is a very important doctor. She needs someone special to take care of both of you." "You are special," Emily said, touching his face. "You saved me when I almost got hit in the parking lot last week." Jennifer's eyes widened. She knew nothing about any accident. "What do you mean, sweetheart?" "I was running after the ball that flew from the yard and didn't see the car coming," Emily explained. "Uncle Michael pulled me back just in time." Michael nodded in confirmation, clearly uncomfortable with the attention. "Just reflexes, doctor. Anyone would have done the same." "You saved my daughter?" Jennifer asked, her voice tight. "It was nothing," Michael murmured. "She was just distracted." Dr. Richard huffed in irritation. "That doesn't change the fact that a janitor isn't qualified to be the father of a doctor's child." The words came out harsher than he intended, and the silence that followed was tense. Michael lowered his head, clearly hurt. Emily turned to Dr. Richard with a furious expression. "You're mean. Uncle Michael is kinder than you." "Emily," Jennifer scolded. "It's true, Mommy. These doctors only want you because of your money. Uncle Michael actually likes me." The brutal honesty of the girl left everyone speechless. Jennifer looked at the 5 doctors, then at Michael, who still had his head down. "Gentlemen," she finally said, "I think we should end this conversation for today." "Jennifer, you can't seriously be considering," Dr. Frank began. "I'm not considering anything," she cut him off. "I just want to put an end to this awkward situation I created myself." The doctors gradually dispersed, murmuring among themselves. Michael tried to pull away again, but Emily kept holding his hand. "Uncle Michael, can you have lunch with me today?" the girl asked. "Emily," said Jennifer, "Michael has his own things to do." "Actually," said Michael, hesitating, "I eat lunch in the back courtyard, if you'd like to join me." Jennifer was about to refuse when she saw the hopeful look on Emily's face. "All right," she said, "but just for today." The smile that lit up Emily's face made Jennifer wonder if she'd made the right decision. But it was done. For the rest of the morning, Jennifer couldn't focus properly. The snide remarks from her colleagues echoed in her mind, mixed with the image of Emily hugging Michael so affectionately. She'd never seen her daughter show such spontaneous warmth toward any man. When lunchtime came, Jennifer found Emily sitting on a wooden bench in the small back courtyard, chatting animatedly with Michael. He'd brought a simple, packed lunch and was sharing half with the girl, who ate with gusto. "Mom," Emily called, waving. "Uncle Michael brought fudge that his wife made." Jennifer froze. "Wife? You're married?" she asked, stepping closer. Michael swallowed hard. "I was. My wife passed away 3 years ago." The news hit Jennifer unexpectedly. She'd assumed Michael was single, but had never asked about his personal life. "I'm so sorry," she said, sitting beside Emily. "She made the best sweets in the world," Emily said. "Uncle Michael told me all about her." Jennifer looked at Michael, who was absently pushing his food around. "Emily, you shouldn't bother Michael with personal questions." "It's no trouble," he said softly. "It's good to talk about her sometimes." "What was her name?" Jennifer asked, genuinely curious now. "Mary," Michael answered, a sad smile crossing his face. "She was a nurse. We worked together at the hospital where I lived before." "You worked at a hospital too?" Michael hesitated before answering. "Yes, but it was different. Here, things are different." There was something in the way he said it that made Jennifer want to ask more, but Emily interrupted the moment. "Uncle Michael, tell Mom about the little bird you saved." "What bird?" Jennifer asked. "There was a little bird with a hurt wing in the garden," Michael explained. "I took care of it until it got better." "He knew exactly what to do," Emily said admiringly. "Made a tiny little sling and everything." Jennifer watched Michael with renewed interest. There was a gentleness in his movements, a precision she recognized, the same precision she saw in the best nurses and technicians. "Do you have experience with bandages?" she asked. "A little," he replied, clearly uncomfortable with the questions. Jennifer's phone rang, interrupting the conversation. It was an emergency in pediatrics. "I have to go," she said, standing up. "Emily, you'll stay with Rachel." "Can I stay with Uncle Michael?" Emily asked. "No, sweetheart, Michael has work to do." "Actually," Michael said, "I clean the children's wing after lunch. If you'd like, she can stay with me. I know the safety protocols well." Jennifer hesitated. On one hand, it wasn't proper to leave her daughter with a staff member. On the other, Emily clearly felt safe with him, and she'd known Michael for months. "All right," she said finally, "but only until I get back." As she rushed to the emergency, Jennifer couldn't stop thinking about the way Michael had spoken about safety protocols. It was technical language she wouldn't expect from a janitor. The emergency turned out to be less serious than initially thought, but even so, Jennifer took 2 hours to return. When she arrived at the pediatric wing, she found Emily helping Michael organize the toys in the playroom. "Mommy," said Emily, running to her, "Uncle Michael knows all the medicines. He knows which ones for headaches, which ones for fevers." "Oh?" asked Jennifer, looking at Michael. "Just curiosity," he said quickly. "When you work in a hospital for so long, you pick up a few things." "How long have you worked here?" Jennifer asked. 2.5 years. "And before?" Michael hesitated again, that same uncomfortable expression crossing his face. "I worked somewhere else." The vague answer only heightened Jennifer's curiosity. There was something Michael wasn't telling her, and she was determined to find out what. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps those of us just starting out. Now, back to the story. The following week, Jennifer began paying closer attention to Michael. She noticed how he interacted with patients, always respectful and kind. She saw how well he knew every corner of the hospital, every procedure, every protocol. And most of all, she noticed how Emily always sought him out. "Mommy," Emily said one Thursday morning, "why don't you marry Uncle Michael?" The question caught Jennifer off guard as she sipped her coffee. "Emily, that's not how things work." "Why not?" Because people need to know each other well before getting married." "But you know Uncle Michael, he works here every day." "Knowing someone at work is different, sweetheart." Emily made a face. "Did you know Daddy better when you married him?" The question felt like a stab. Jennifer remembered how she had fallen head over heels for Robert Wilson back in college, how they'd married quickly without truly knowing his personality. "It's complicated," she murmured. "What does complicated mean?" Before Jennifer could answer, her phone rang. It was Dr. Frank. "Jennifer, you need to see this," he said, his voice serious. "Come to my office." When she arrived at Frank's office, she found Dr. Richard and Dr. Mark waiting for her. "What's going on?" she asked. "We found out some things about your janitor friend," Richard said disdainfully. "Michael? What did you find?" Frank handed her a few printed pages. "We did some digging. Michael Parker, 40 years old, born in Boston. Came to Chicago 3 years ago." "So?" "He has no qualifications, Jennifer," Mark said. "Not even a complete high school education in the records we found." "That's none of your business," Jennifer shot back, but a flicker of doubt began to grow in her chest. "It is our business when one of our colleagues is getting involved with someone suspicious," Richard said. "You have a young daughter to protect." "I'm not involved with anyone." "Not yet," Frank said, "but it's obvious you're considering it, and that's a mistake." Jennifer took the papers and examined them. There really was little information about Michael. No educational history beyond elementary school, no formal record of previous employment. Where did he work before coming to Chicago? She asked. That's exactly what we couldn't find out, Richard said. Very suspicious. That afternoon, Jennifer watched Michael from a distance as he worked. There was something about his movements that didn't match the image of someone uneducated. The way he handled cleaning tools, organized supplies, spoke to patients. When Emily ran to hug him as she always did, Jennifer approached. "Michael," she said, "can I talk to you?" "Of course, doctor. It's about your work history. Where did you work before coming to Chicago?" Michael visibly tensed. "Why do you want to know?" "Because my daughter is very attached to you, and I need to know who she's spending time with." "I worked in Boston," he said after a long pause. "Doing what?" "Cleaning, too." The answer came out too rehearsed, too quick. Jennifer knew he was lying. "Michael, I won't judge you for your past. I just want the truth." He looked at Emily, who was playing with toys nearby, then back at Jennifer. "It's complicated," he murmured. "That's okay. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to." But Jennifer couldn't hide the disappointment in her voice. Michael noticed and lowered his head. "I don't want to lie to you," he said, "but some things are hard to explain." That night, Jennifer was restless. There was something about Michael that didn't add up, and she couldn't figure out what. She decided to do her own research. She searched for Michael Parker on every social media platform, in professional records, anywhere she could find information. What she found only confused her more. There was a medical record for a Dr. Michael Parker in Boston, a graduate of Harvard Medical School, but the photo was old and low quality, impossible to confirm if it was the same person. Jennifer's heart raced. Could it be true? The next morning, she found Michael in the staff locker room. "I need to ask you something," she said, closing the door behind her. "Go ahead, doctor." "Are you a doctor?" The silence that followed was his answer. Michael turned slowly, his eyes meeting hers. "I was," he finally said. "Was?" "I was a doctor in Boston, a cardiologist." Jennifer's legs felt weak. "Why are you working as a janitor?" Michael sat on the bench, his hands trembling slightly. "When Mary died, I lost everything. My practice, my patience, the will to live. I came to Chicago trying to start over, but my license wasn't recognized here." "What do you mean it wasn't recognized?" "Bureaucracy. They said I'd have to retake exams, wait years. I didn't have the money or the patience for that. I just wanted to work and forget." Jennifer sat beside him. "Michael, you're a licensed cardiologist. Why didn't you tell me?" "Why?" "So I could be humiliated by you too. It's humiliation enough mopping the same floors where I could be saving lives." His words were heavy with pain, and Jennifer's chest tightened. "I wouldn't humiliate you." "Your colleagues would? And they have. How many times have I heard comments about the janitor who doesn't know his place?" Jennifer remembered the cruel remarks from Richard and the others and felt ashamed. "You could get your license validated. I could help you." Michael shook his head. "I don't want charity. It wouldn't be charity. It would be justice." "Doctor," Michael said, standing up, "I appreciate the offer, but I'm fine where I am. I have an honest job. I make enough to live. I don't need anything else." "What about Emily? Are you just going to disappear from her life?" "If it's best for her, yes." Jennifer stood too, placing a hand on his arm. "It wouldn't be best. She loves you, Michael. She really does." "And I love her too," he admitted, his voice breaking. "That's why I'll do what's best for her." That afternoon, Jennifer couldn't focus. The revelation about Michael had turned her world upside down. A licensed cardiologist working as a janitor because of bureaucracy. She decided to dig deeper. She called Harvard Medical School and confirmed that Michael Parker had graduated in 1998 with honors. She called the hospital where he worked in Boston and learned he had been one of the most respected cardiologists in the city. "Dr. Parker was exceptional," the medical coordinator said. "We lost a great professional when he left." "Why did he leave?" "After losing his wife, he fell into a deep depression. One day, he simply stopped showing up for work. We heard he had sold everything and moved to Chicago." Jennifer hung up the phone with a heavy heart. Michael had not only lost his wife, but his entire professional identity, and now he was rebuilding his life from scratch, working in a job far beneath his qualifications. When she got home that night, she found Emily playing doctor with her dolls. "Mommy," said Emily, "when I grow up, I want to be a doctor like you and like Uncle Michael." "What do you mean, like Uncle Michael, sweetheart?" "He told me he used to be a doctor before. He said he took care of people's hearts." Jennifer sat beside her daughter. "What else did he tell you?" "That sometimes life breaks our hearts, but we can fix them, like he fixed the hearts of the little birds." The simplicity with which Emily understood the situation moved Jennifer deeply. A 6-year-old had grasped Michael's pain better than any adult. The next morning, Jennifer went to see the hospital director, Dr. Albert Morgan. "I need to talk to you about Michael Parker," she said. "The janitor. Did something happen?" "He's a licensed doctor, Dr. Albert, an experienced cardiologist." Dr. Albert raised his eyebrows. "What do you mean?" Jennifer told him everything she had discovered. When she finished, the director was silent for a long moment. "If this is true," he finally said, "it's an absurd waste of human resources." "It's true. I verified everything." "Why didn't he go to HR when he was hired?" "Because he was depressed and didn't want to be a doctor at the time. He just wanted to work and start over." Dr. Albert drummed his fingers on the desk. "I'll talk to him. If he really has the qualifications you say, we can help him with the revalidation process. He's proud. He might refuse. Then you'll have to convince him." That afternoon, Jennifer found Michael in the hospital garden, sitting on the same bench where they had shared lunch weeks earlier. Emily was with him, telling him about her day at school. "Michael," she said, approaching, "can I talk to you?" "Of course." "I spoke with the hospital director. He wants to help you with your medical license revalidation." Michael sighed. "Doctor, I already told you. You said you didn't want charity. But this isn't charity. The hospital needs good cardiologists. You'd be an investment, not a favor." "Mommy," Emily interrupted, "what's revalidation?" "It's when someone has to prove again that they know how to do their job," Jennifer explained. "But Uncle Michael already knows. He taught me how to listen to my heart with the toy stethoscope." Michael smiled sadly. "It's not that simple, Emily." "Why not?" "Because there are rules," said Jennifer, "and sometimes rules are complicated." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, continuing, over the following weeks, Jennifer kept pushing the issue of revalidation. Michael remained reluctant, but gradually began considering the possibility. The hospital director offered flexible work hours so he could study for the exams. "It's been 15 years since I last opened a medical textbook," Michael said one afternoon as they walked the halls. "It's like riding a bike," Jennifer replied. "You never forget." "I hope you're right." Emily always joined these conversations, absorbing every word. One afternoon, she asked a question that surprised both adults. "Uncle Michael, will you be sad if you become a doctor again?" "Why would I be sad?" he asked, confused. "Because then you'll remember Aunt Mary, and you get sad when you think about her." Michael knelt down to Emily's level, his eyes shining. "You're very smart, you know. It's true that I get sad sometimes, but I'm also happy because she taught me how to care for people." "Would she want you to be a doctor again?" "I think so. She always said I had healing hands." Emily took Michael's large hands between her small ones. "Your hands really are healing. You healed my heart when Daddy left." The little girl's words broke through Michael's last resistance. He looked at Jennifer with tears in his eyes. "All right," he said. "I'll try." The recertification process was long and grueling. Michael studied late at night after work, using books borrowed from the hospital library. Jennifer helped whenever she could, reviewing concepts and updating him on new techniques. The other doctors watched with skepticism and, in some cases, outright hostility. "This is ridiculous, Doctor." Richard complained during a meeting. "A janitor wanting to become a doctor." "He was always a doctor," Jennifer defended. "He's just recertifying his license." "If he was such a good doctor, why was he working as a janitor?" Dr. Frank questioned. Because sometimes life knocks you down, Jennifer replied, and not everyone is lucky enough to land in a golden cradle. Tension grew in the hospital. Some staff supported Michael, admiring his determination. Others resented the special attention he was receiving. One night, Jennifer found Michael studying in the empty hospital library, surrounded by stacks of books. "You should go home and rest," she said. "I can't stop," he answered. "It feels like I'm rediscovering who I was before everything fell apart." "And who were you?" Michael smiled for the first time in weeks. Someone who loved saving lives, who woke up excited to go to work, who felt like he was making a difference in the world. "You can still be that person." "I hope so." Jennifer sat beside him, looking at the open books. "Michael, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Why didn't you ever try to get close to me before all this with Emily?" Michael was silent for a moment. "Because I knew you were too good for me. A successful doctor, beautiful, smart. And I was just a heartbroken janitor." "You were never just a janitor." "But that's how I saw myself, that's how everyone saw me." "I don't see you that way." "How do you see me?" Jennifer hesitated before answering, sensing her words would change something between them forever. "I see a man of integrity, who lost everything and still found the strength to start over. I see someone who treats my daughter with more kindness than her own father ever did. I see a doctor who temporarily lost his way, but never lost his essence." Michael looked directly into her eyes. "And I see a woman who could have any man in the world, but has the generosity to believe in someone like me." The moment was interrupted by the night security guard making his rounds. "Dr. Parker," the guard greeted Michael. "Studying late again?" Jennifer noticed some staff had already started calling Michael doctor, even before official recertification. It was a sign of the respect he'd earned. On the day of his first exam, Emily insisted on going with him to the university. "For good luck," she said. "I don't need luck," Michael replied. "I studied hard." "Everyone needs luck," Emily insisted. "Mommy said her daddy always carried a 4-leaf clover in his pocket." Jennifer smiled, remembering her father's superstition. "I think Emily's right," she said, kissing Michael's cheek. "Good luck." The kiss was natural, spontaneous, but both felt the electricity of the moment. Michael blushed slightly. "Thank you," he murmured. As they waited for the test results, the tension in the hospital grew. Dr. Richard and his allies were betting that Michael would fail, while other staff members rooted for his success. "If he passes," said Dr. Frank, "it'll just be luck." "And if he doesn't?" asked a nurse. "Then he goes back to the broom where he always belonged," Dr. Richard replied cruelly. Emily overheard the conversation and ran to tell Jennifer. "Mommy, the mean doctors are saying Uncle Michael is going to fail. Don't listen to them, sweetheart. Michael studied hard and he'll do just fine." "But what if he doesn't? Will he be sad?" Jennifer hugged her daughter, realizing Emily was genuinely worried. "If he doesn't pass, he'll try again, and we'll keep supporting him." When the results came in, Michael had passed with the highest score. The news spread through the hospital like wildfire. Jennifer found Michael sitting on the same bench in the garden, holding the paper with his results. "Congratulations," she said, sitting beside him. "I can't believe it," he murmured. 15 years later, and I still remember everything." "Told you so," Jennifer teased. Emily came running, followed by several staff members who wanted to congratulate Michael. "Uncle Michael won," she shouted, jumping into his lap. "You're a doctor again." "Not yet," Michael said, hugging her. "I still have more tests ahead." "But you'll pass them all," Emily declared with absolute certainty. "Because you're the best doctor in the world." Emily's unwavering faith in Michael moved everyone present. Even some of the skeptical doctors began to reconsider their opinions. "Dr. Michael," said Gladys, the head of cleaning. "I always knew you were special." "Gladys, please just call me Michael." "No, sir. Respect is earned, and you earned mine a long time ago." That evening, Jennifer took Emily and Michael out to dinner to celebrate. It was the first time they'd gone out together as a family, and the natural ease of the moment surprised all three. "Where are we going?" Emily asked. "Wherever you want," Jennifer replied. "Steakhouse," Emily and Michael said at the same time, then laughed at the coincidence. At the restaurant, Emily sat between them, chattering about school and asking questions about medicine. Michael explained complicated concepts simply, using napkins to draw a heart and show how it worked. "You'd make a great teacher," Jennifer remarked. "Mary always said that," Michael replied. "She wanted me to teach at the university." "Maybe you still can." "Maybe." During dessert, Emily made an unexpected announcement. "Tomorrow, I'm telling everyone at school that my new dad is a doctor." Jennifer nearly choked on her ice cream. "Emily, Michael isn't your dad." "Not yet," Emily said, looking at Michael. "But he will be, right, Uncle Michael?" Michael glanced at Jennifer, then at Emily. "Emily, these things are complicated." "Why does everyone always say things are complicated?" Emily complained. "You like Mommy, Mommy likes you, and I like both of you. What's the hard part?" Emily's simple logic left the two adults speechless. Jennifer felt her face grow warm. "Emily, you can't go around saying Michael is your dad." "Why not?" "Because people might not understand." "Then I'll explain. You're really smart, Mommy. I'm sure you can figure it out." On the drive home, Emily fell asleep in the back seat. Michael and Jennifer sat in silence, each lost in their own thoughts. "I'm sorry," Jennifer finally said. "She shouldn't have said those things." "Why? Did they bother you?" "No, it's just, it must be awkward for you." "It's not awkward. Actually, it's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me." Jennifer glanced at him in the rearview mirror. "Really? Emily makes me feel important again. She makes me feel needed. I haven't felt this way in a long time. And what about me? Do I make you feel that way too?" Michael remained silent for so long that Jennifer thought he wouldn't answer. "You make me feel alive again," he finally said. "Ever since Mary died, I was just existing. With both of you, I've started living again." Michael's words touched Jennifer deeply. She realized she was falling for him, not for the doctor he had been or was becoming again, but for the kind man she'd first known as a janitor. In the following weeks, the dynamics at Mercy General Hospital changed drastically. Michael continued working in maintenance while studying for his upcoming exams, but now he was treated with respect by almost everyone. "It's remarkable," one nurse commented. "He was always polite and respectful, but now it makes sense. He's always carried himself like a doctor." Dr. Richard Thompson, however, intensified his campaign against Michael. "This is a circus," he complained to anyone who would listen. "A janitor becoming a doctor. Who's ever heard of such a thing?" "He was always a doctor," argued Dr. Paul Roberts, who had changed his stance. "He was just temporarily in another role." "Temporarily? 2.5 years mopping floors is temporary." "For someone who lost his wife and fell into depression, 2.5 years is the blink of an eye," replied Dr. Mark Johnson, surprising everyone by defending Michael. The rivalry reached its peak when Dr. Richard decided to publicly test Michael's knowledge. "Since everyone thinks he's a genius," Richard said during a general meeting, "how about a practical test?" "What kind of test?" asked Dr. Albert Morgan. "A real case. I present a patient, and he gives the diagnosis in front of everyone." Michael was present at the meeting, still wearing his janitor's uniform. "I accept," he said, stunning everyone. "Michael, you don't have to prove anything," Jennifer said. "Yes, I do, for myself, for you, and for Emily," Richard smirked. "Perfect. I have a 65-year-old patient with chest pain for 3 weeks, normal test results, but still experiencing discomfort. What would you do?" Michael closed his eyes for a moment, gathering his thoughts. "I'd ask about the nature of the pain, whether it's burning, pressure, or stabbing. I'd check if it's related to exertion, meals, or stress. I'd look for a family history of heart issues." "Any med student would know that," Richard taunted. "I'd also consider gastroesophageal reflux, intercostal muscle strain, and anxiety," Michael continued. "But most importantly, I'd talk to the patient about what changed in his life 3 weeks ago." "What do you mean?" "Chest pain in older people isn't always physical. Sometimes it's emotional. Loss of a loved one, retirement, moving homes. The heart aches for many reasons." The answer left everyone impressed. It was a holistic approach few doctors would consider. "Lucky guess," Richard muttered, though he was visibly unsettled. "May I see the patient?" Michael asked. "Why?" to confirm my diagnosis. 20 minutes later, Michael emerged from the patient's room with a sad smile. He'd discovered the man had lost his wife exactly 3 weeks earlier, and the chest pain had started the day of the funeral. "How did you know?" asked Dr. Frank Miller, genuinely amazed. "Because I've been through it," Michael replied. "When Mary died, my chest hurt for months. I thought it was a heart attack, but it was grief." The case spread quickly through the hospital. Michael had diagnosed in minutes what other doctors had struggled with for weeks. His reputation as a skilled physician was now undeniable. "He really is good," Dr. Mark admitted to Jennifer. "Very good." "He always was," she replied. "You're in love with him." It wasn't a question. Jennifer sighed. "Is it that obvious?" "To those who know you, yes. And he's in love too." "How do you know?" "By the way he looks at you when he thinks no one's watching." That night, Jennifer decided it was time for a serious talk with Emily about the situation. "Sweetheart, we need to talk about Michael." "What about him?" "You understand he's not really your father, right?" Emily was silent for a moment. "He takes care of me like a father would." "That's true." "He worries about me like a father would." "Also true." "He loves me like a father would." "Emily, so what's the difference? Why can't he be my dad, just because he didn't make me?" The question caught Jennifer off guard. Emily was only 6, but her understanding of family went beyond biology. "It's just, there are legal procedures, sweetheart, papers to sign." "Then sign the papers." "It's not that simple." "Why not?" Jennifer realized she was using the same excuse all adults did. "It's complicated." But to Emily, nothing was complicated when it came to love. "Do you really want Michael to be your father? I already know he is. You two just need to figure it out." On the day of Michael's second exam, the family dynamic had subtly shifted. Emily insisted on making a special breakfast for good luck. Jennifer noticed she was acting like a wife, packing Michael's lunch and organizing his study materials. "You don't have to do this," Michael said. "I want to," she replied. "Why?" Jennifer stopped what she was doing and looked straight at him. "Because when you succeed, I feel happy. When you're nervous, I get nervous. When you smile, my day gets better." "Jennifer, I know it's strange. A few months ago, you were just the nice janitor who talked to my daughter. Now you're important to me." Michael stepped closer to her in the kitchen. "You're important to me too. Very important. Even though I'm the boss and you're the employee, you've never treated me like a subordinate. You've always treated me as an equal." Emily appeared in the kitchen dressed in her school clothes. "Why are you whispering?" she asked. "We weren't whispering," Jennifer said. "Yes, you were. And you're holding hands." They looked down and realized they were indeed holding hands without even noticing. "Emily," Michael said, kneeling to her level, "if I pass all my exams and become a doctor again, will you still want to be my daughter?" "Of course. Why wouldn't I?" "Because I'll be different. I'll wear a white coat instead of a gray uniform." Emily laughed. "Uncle Michael, do you think I like you because of what you wear?" "No. I like you because you're you. Because you listen to my stories and tell me yours. Because you know how to make fudge and take care of hurt birds. Because you make mommy smile for real." Michael felt tears in his eyes. "You're the wisest little girl I know." "I know," Emily said, kissing his cheek. "That's why I picked you to be my dad." When Michael returned from his second exam, he had once again passed with top marks. This time, there was no surprise, just confirmation of what everyone already knew. He was truly an exceptional doctor. "Just one more exam left," he told Jennifer. "The hardest one. The practical. I have to demonstrate surgical skills." "Are you nervous?" "A little. It's been a long time since I operated." "It's like riding a bike," Jennifer repeated, using the same phrase from weeks before. "I hope you're right." The night before the practical exam, Michael couldn't sleep. Jennifer found him studying in the hospital library at 2 in the morning. "You should be resting," she said. "I can't stop thinking about tomorrow's surgery. What kind of procedure will it be?" I don't know. I only know you'll be observed by a panel of renowned cardiologists. Jennifer sat beside him. Michael, you've already saved hundreds of lives. That hasn't changed just because you spent 2 years doing another job. But what if I fail? What if my hands forgot how to operate? Your hands haven't forgotten. I see how you examine Emily when she gets hurt. I see how you care for patients even as a janitor. You never stopped being a doctor. Michael looked at her gratefully. How can you be so sure? Because I've been watching you for months. You have the instinct, the compassion, the precision, everything a great doctor needs. And what about you? Will you still want me around when I'm officially Dr. Michael Parker again? The question caught Jennifer off guard. Why wouldn't I? Because things will be different now. I won't be the humble janitor you helped anymore. I'll be your colleague, your professional equal. Michael, I never wanted you out of pity or charity. I want you because you're a good, honest, caring man. That won't change with a white coat. Are you sure? In response, Jennifer leaned in and kissed him softly. It was a kiss full of tenderness and promises, sealing a feeling that had been growing for months. I'm sure, she murmured against his lips. On the day of the practical exam, the operating room was full of observers. Michael put on the blue surgical gown for the first time in 3 years. His hands trembled slightly as he scrubbed in. The case was complex, a patient with multiple coronary blockages needing bypass surgery. Michael reviewed the tests, spoke with the patient, and outlined his surgical plan. Dr. Parker, said the head of the panel, you may begin when ready. Michael closed his eyes for a moment, took a deep breath and made the first incision. From that moment on, his movements became steady and precise. It was as if the 3-year gap had never existed. Exceptional, murmured one observer. Flawless technique, remarked another. Jennifer watched from the gallery, with Emily by her side. The girl was mesmerized watching Michael work. He really is a doctor, she whispered. He always was, sweetheart. The surgery lasted 4 hours and was a complete success. When Michael stepped out of the operating room, he was met with applause from everyone present. Congratulations, Dr. Parker, said the panel head. You're officially reinstated. Michael looked at Jennifer and Emily, who were running toward him. Emily jumped into his arms, still in his surgical gown. Now you're a doctor forever, she said. Forever, he confirmed, hugging her tightly. Dr. Albert approached the group. Dr. Parker, we'd like to offer you a permanent position on our cardiology team. It would be an honor, Michael replied. What about your current job? I'll miss the cleaning crew. They took me in when I needed it most. You'll always be welcome to visit them, Jennifer said. That evening, they celebrated at home. Emily had insisted on baking a chocolate cake for the occasion, with Jennifer's help. Michael arrived still emotional from the day's events. How did it feel to operate again? Jennifer asked. Like coming home after a very long trip, he replied. Everything familiar yet new at the same time. Are you going to keep living in your tiny apartment? Emily asked. Why? Because now you're a rich doctor again. You could live in a big house. Michael laughed. Emily, being a doctor isn't about money, it's about helping people. I know, but you deserve good things too. I already have the best things in the world, he said, looking at Jennifer and Emily. I have you two. 2 weeks later, Michael officially began as a cardiologist at Mercy General Hospital. The transition was smoother than anyone had imagined. The staff who knew him as a janitor treated him with affection and respect, while those unaware of his story simply saw him as another competent doctor. It's strange, remarked Gladys, seeing Michael in a white coat, but I'm happy for him. He deserves it, agreed one of the nurses. Dr. Richard, however, remained resentful. This is a farce, he muttered to Dr. Frank. He only got the job because Jennifer has connections. Richard, he aced every test with top scores, replied Frank, who had clearly changed his mind. And that surgery was flawless. Beginner's luck. Don't be ridiculous. You saw his technique. It was better than what many of us could do. Michael's first month as a cardiologist was challenging. He had to catch up on new technologies and medications that had emerged in recent years. Jennifer helped whenever she could, lending him books and including him in medical conferences. "You don't have to do this," Michael said one night as they studied together. "I want to help." "Why?" "Because when you grow professionally, I feel proud, as if your successes were mine too." "They are," Michael said, taking her hand. "I wouldn't have achieved any of this without you." "Of course you would, you just needed an opportunity." "No, Jennifer, you gave me more than an opportunity. You gave me hope again." Emily, who was doing homework at the kitchen table, looked up. "Are you two getting married?" she asked, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. "Emily," Jennifer said, blushing, "it's just a question. Everyone at school has married parents." "Not everyone," Jennifer corrected. "Some kids only have a mom or a dad." "I know, but I want both, and I've already chosen you two." Michael knelt to Emily's level. "Emily, marriage is a very important decision. People need to be sure." "Aren't you sure?" "It's complicated." "That word again," Emily complained. "Everything's complicated with you." Later, when Emily was asleep, Michael and Jennifer talked about it. "She's right, you know," Jennifer said. "We complicate everything. Maybe because we've been hurt before. Me with losing Mary, you with the divorce. True, but that doesn't mean we should be afraid to be happy again. Are you happy with me?" "Very." "And you?" "Happier than I ever thought I could be again." They fell silent, each lost in thought. "Michael," Jennifer finally said, "if I asked if you'd marry me, what would you say?" "I'd ask if you're sure it's what you want." "I'm sure. You're good for me and Emily. You make us happy." "And do you think I'd be a good father to Emily?" "You already are. We just need to make it official." Michael smiled. "Then yes, I'd marry you." They kissed, sealing a decision that would change their lives forever. The next morning, Emily woke up to find them having coffee together, holding hands. "Did you decide?" she asked, as if she already knew what they'd discussed. "We did," Jennifer said. "Michael's going to be your dad." Emily squealed with joy and jumped into Michael's lap. "I knew you'd stay together," she said. "I knew from the first day." "How did you know?" Michael asked. "Because you look at each other like the prince and princess in movies, and because when you're together, everyone's happier." Emily's innocent observation made Michael and Jennifer laugh. "You're very smart," Jennifer said. "I know, that's why I picked you two to be my parents." The official proposal happened 2 weeks later, on a Sunday afternoon in the same hospital garden where they'd first had lunch. Michael had arranged everything with Emily's secret help. "Why are we here?" asked Jennifer, confused. "Because this is where it all began," replied Michael. "It was on this bench that your daughter chose me to be her father." Emily appeared from behind a tree carrying a bouquet of flowers. "Surprise!" she shouted. Michael knelt before Jennifer, pulling a small box from his pocket. "Jennifer Wilson, will you marry me and officially form the family we already are in our hearts?" "Yes," she answered, tears in her eyes. 1,000 times yes." Emily clapped excitedly. "Now we're a real family," she said, hugging them both. The wedding took place 3 months later, in a simple ceremony in Jennifer's garden. Emily was the flower girl and insisted on giving a speech. "I want to thank Mom for letting me choose my own dad," she said, making everyone laugh. "And I want to thank Dad Michael for agreeing to be chosen by a stubborn girl like me." Emily's words moved everyone present. Michael couldn't hold back his tears. "Thank you for choosing me, Emily," he said, lifting her into his arms. "It's the best thing that's ever happened to me." The reception was small but warm. Gladys and other hospital staff were there, along with some doctors who had become Michael's friends and Jennifer's few relatives. Dr. Richard wasn't invited, but Dr. Frank, Dr. Paul, and Dr. Mark attended and wished the couple well. "I admit I was wrong about you, Michael," said Dr. Frank. "You're a man of integrity and an excellent doctor." "Thank you," Michael replied. "That means a lot coming from you." During their honeymoon, which they spent at a lodge in Aspen with Emily, Michael reflected on how his life had completely changed. "A year ago I was a broken man, working as a janitor to forget my pain," he told Jennifer while Emily played in the lodge's garden. "And now? Now I'm a fulfilled doctor, married to the most amazing woman in the world, and father to the most special girl there is. Do you think Mary would approve? Michael smiled, looking up at the sky. I'm sure she would. She always said I had so much love to give. I couldn't give it to her as long as I wanted, but I can give it to you two for the rest of my life. Emily ran up to them, interrupting the romantic moment. Daddy, Mommy, look what I found, she said, holding up a small, delicate flower. It's beautiful, sweetheart, said Jennifer. It's for you, Emily said, handing them the flower. To thank you for letting me have a real family. Michael picked Emily up and spun her around, all three laughing loudly. We're the ones who should thank you, he said, for teaching us that family isn't about blood, it's about love. 2 years later, Michael had established himself as one of the most respected cardiologists at Mercy General Hospital. His story of perseverance inspired staff and patients alike. He created a program to help foreign professionals validate their degrees, ensuring no one else would face the same struggles he had. It's important to give opportunities, he said in an interview for the hospital newsletter. Everyone deserves a second chance. Jennifer continued as a pediatrician, but now balanced her schedule to spend more time with the family. At 8 years old, Emily already spoke knowledgeably about medicine and dreamed of following in her parents' footsteps. I'll be a cardiologist like Daddy, she declared, but I'll also take care of kids like Mommy. That would make you a pediatric cardiologist, Michael explained. It's a very rare specialty. Perfect. I'll be the best pediatric cardiologist in the United States. Emily's determination made Michael and Jennifer smile. She had inherited her mother's stubbornness and her adoptive father's compassion. One Friday afternoon, while organizing Michael's office, Jennifer found an old photo of Mary. She was beautiful, Jennifer said. She was, Michael agreed. And she would have loved both of you. Do you think she would approve of our marriage? I'm certain of it. Mary always said love knows no bounds, that a person can love many times in life, and each love is unique and special. Sometimes I feel guilty, Jennifer admitted, as if I'm taking her place. Michael stopped what he was doing and hugged his wife. You didn't take anyone's place. You made your own place in my heart, a place that's only yours and always will be. Emily appeared at the office door. Daddy, Mommy, can I interrupt? Of course, sweetheart. I wanted to talk about Aunt Mary. Michael and Jennifer exchanged surprised glances. What do you want to know? Michael asked. I want to thank her. Thank her for what? For loving Daddy first, for teaching him to be kind and caring, for preparing him to be my father. Emily's words moved Michael deeply. He knelt to her level. How are you so wise, Emily? Because I have the best parents in the world to teach me. That evening, the three of them had dinner together, as they did every night. Emily talked about her day at school, Jennifer shared stories about her pediatric patients, and Michael recounted the success of a complicated surgery. Family, Emily suddenly said. That's what we are, right? That's what we've always been, Michael replied. From the first day you chose me. And we'll be forever? Forever, Michael and Jennifer said in unison. Emily smiled, satisfied. Then, everything's perfect. I chose well. The end of the story. And you? What did you think of this touching story? Do you believe true love goes beyond titles and social positions? Share your honest thoughts in the comments and tell us where you're following us from. Don't forget to like this video to support our work. And most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other heartfelt stories like this one. Your participation is essential for us to keep bringing you quality content. Thank you so much for being here with us.